All right, welcome everybody. For those of you that don't know me already, my name is Michael, and I am super excited to be sharing with you this evening. This is going to be um, a quick live. I'm not going to take too much of your time, but I was just led by the Lord to go live and just share a little bit more about my testimony. For those of you who do not know, um, I am getting ready to do a 3-day masterclass that is starting this evening. It is the From Pain to Purpose masterclass, and it is going to be absolutely powerful. But I was just in prayer this morning, and I know that there are some people that have been watching, that have been listening, and have been tuning in, and you know that you need to take this class. You know that you need to take this class. You've been on the fence. You're not sure if you want to sign up. Pride is perhaps telling you that you shouldn't take this class. And so I was praying this morning, and the Holy Spirit just led me to do one more live stream and just to share my full testimony and the backstory to how I got to this class, right? I even talked with someone earlier, and they were asking, they were like, is this a class did you come up with this class, or is this something that you're doing for someone else? And I had to tell them this is 100% authentic. All right, this is my class. I wrote the book, the ebook, the workbook, everything, the class, the materials, all of that. These are things that I have come up with. I am not selling this course on behalf of anybody else. And so I just wanted to get on here to give this last push to that person that needs to take this class. All right, because I had to really remember where God brought me from. It wasn't until prayer this morning that the Lord reminded me where he brought me from. And so if you are that person that you've been seeing my content and you think you need to take this class, this is your last chance and opportunity. And hopefully my personal testimony, the backstory to how I got to this place, is going to help you understand why you need to take this class. All right. So a couple of days ago, and again, I'm going to try to keep this short and to the point to help you out. But a couple of days ago, the Lord led me to the story in the book of John, where the individual who had been sitting at the side of the pool. All right, if you want to look this up, this is in John. Let me look it up. All right, so that's in John chapter 5. All right, so if you want to read that story for yourself, you can go to John chapter 5. But this is where many people are at right now. In John chapter 5, you will see the story of a man who was sitting at the wayside. He was sitting at the side of the pool. And at this time, it was if you got into the pool, you would be healed. So this man was in a condition where he was not able to walk. All right. And this is what many of us look like when we're stuck in unforgiveness, when we're stuck in trauma or pain or whatever it is. We are sitting there and we're waiting for somebody to come and rescue us. We're waiting for somebody to come and get us out of this predicament. And so I'm sharing this story because Jesus approaches this man and he's like, has all these excuses. He like, well, I've been sitting here for 38 years. And this is where some of us are at. We've been in this condition for years. All right. I was stuck in my place for about a year and a half until I had a moment where I had to wake up. I had a moment where I had to wake up and like, I want to get out of this predicament that I'm in. And so if you're this person where you are dealing with this trauma, you're dealing with this pain, whatever it is that's going on, you are just like this individual that's sitting at the side of the pool, and he was there for 38 years. And so I want to ask you, how much longer are you going to be sitting on the side of this, wherever it is in life? You're stuck there. You don't know how to move forward. I'm going to share my testimony with you, all right? And so this class is called From Pain to Purpose, but when I tell you this was birthed out of a place of pain. So in the year 2020, many of you have heard the high moments, all right? I said I wasn't going to speak on this until I fully went through my healing process, but many of you probably have already seen my testimony that I shared about being so depressed. Y'all, I was in such a low, dark place that finally, even though I have helped people for years, right? Sometimes you get to the point where you need some help too. And so I got to the point where I was like, let me seek out a therapist, right? I got to do something different, right? I knew that I could get out of this on my own, but I just wanted somebody else to do it for me. And so I went to this therapist. I had to take an assessment. All right. Thank you so much. See, there's someone who went through this class, all right? And they're telling you in the comments that they recommend this class. And so what happened was I went to this therapist and I didn't realize how depressed I was until I took this assessment. And they were like, your numbers were so high to the point where this is like chronic depression, to the point where you were 1 point off from where I would recommend like medication. All right. I would recommend medication. And so I'm sharing this with you. A lot of people don't want to get vulnerable about their testimony, but I'm about to tell y'all everything that I went through. All right. If you want to join the class, you can go to the link in my bio. All right. You can register there. But I'm sharing my testimony because I know there's people that are thinking about it and you're not sure if you should take it. But I want to ask you this question. How much longer are you going to stay in that predicament? You've gone a year, you've gone 2 years, some of you have gone 10 years where you're carrying around this hurt, you're carrying around this pain, this frustration, this trauma, and you don't know how to get out of it, but you keep making excuses and lying to yourself and telling you that you're going to get out of this predicament. So I was severely depressed. I was in a very dark place. What ended up happening was in 2020, the Lord told me and my wife to move to another state. It was in the middle of the world lockdown. The Lord gave me very specific instructions. But I'm telling you, when I officially launched my business, because I had been doing things already, but when I did all the paperwork and officially launched my business, there were some people that started acting different. All right. Now, I'm a very loving, loyal person. So when I'm friends with somebody, like I just love people and I just do right by people, right? That's just how God has wired me. So I noticed that when I launched my business, that there were people that I loved very dearly and still love, all right, that just really switched it up, all right? The Lord was pulling me out of my comfort zone and was telling me to start do things like even during the world lockdown, the Lord told me to go live every day. I prayed for probably over a month for 7 days a week. It was called prayer during the pandemic, all right? And so I just noticed that there were things going on where people were, you just know when people switch up on you, right? You just know when people start acting funny. They no longer like are showing the same support. Like it was just a lot of stuff going on. But at that time, my grandmother was in the hospital. I didn't have time to really feed into all of that stuff. But I knew that there were certain people in my life that I had loved dearly, that I had served faithfully at that time, that things just started to change. So I'm just in prayer and I'm like, Lord, I'm just trusting that you're going to deal with whatever this is, right? Now, mind you, my grandmother's in the hospital at this time. It was just a lot of stuff going on in my personal life and my family. I'm launching my business. All of this stuff is going on. And so we end up obeying God. But the Lord told me at that time, the Lord said, do not tell anybody. The Lord told me that he was going to move me and my wife. But God gave me very specific instructions and said, don't say anything to anybody. Nobody. Like, and me, I'm the kind of person where I'm like, well, I should tell my pastor, right? Like the Lord said, don't say anything to anybody. I went months and I just spent time in prayer. I didn't say anything to anybody. The Lord gave me the clearance to tell my family first. I told my family, to make a long story short, things just went south. Like, I mean, it was very clear that people were no longer in support of us. I was confused because I'm like, what did I do? I'm like, Lord, I am a person that I do things right, but I'm like, people have switched things up. People like thought they were taking titles away from me. Like it was just a big mess. It was just a big old mess. And these are people, again, that I have served faithfully, that I have not done anything wrong. All right. But when I started to step into my God-given assignment, all right, I started to step into my God-given assignment. It was like the enemy started to use people that I love to attack me. And here's what I want you to understand is the Bible says we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. So it's not that person. They may be doing the things, but the enemy is influencing them to do these things. All right. And so it was just a lot of contention at this time. I knew it. I was staying in prayer. There was just a lot of stuff going on. And when I tell you, we ended up moving. And, the support that you would think would be there for people that you have loved and have served faithfully, it was just not there. God is my witness. All right. I have no reason to lie. It caused a lot of hurt. I was told, and there's been a lot of conversation that's going on right now around like spiritual coverings and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, there are some people out there that they manipulate people, or they're doing things because they're not fully healed. And that's why I'm telling you, this class, From Pain to Purpose, it helps you understand what you're dealing with. I just posted a video about arrested development. So a lot of times we're getting angry, we're getting upset at people, but we're not recognizing that this is an unhealed person that is doing these things to you. And so I had to go through a healing process. It was extremely hurtful. It was very, very hurtful. I got to the point where, with the transition that was happening, with all of the mess, and let me just tell y'all the reality. There was someone, and I hope you all know that I am not sharing this to be messy or anything like that. I am sharing this with you so you can understand the magnitude of what God brought me out of. All right. So this is not anything, and I'm telling you, this happened years ago. All right. So I have not spoken on this because the Lord did not give me clearance to speak on this. So I used wisdom and obeyed God. But when I tell you that there was someone from the ministry that we were at that called my job, they called my supervisor and told her, "Oh, did you hear that Michael was leaving?" Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you so you can understand the magnitude of why I was so hurt by these crazy actions that people had done at this time. All right. People that you thought were family, that you thought were friends. Someone had the audacity to call my supervisor. Now, why is this a problem? Because you understand that if your job finds out that you're leaving, that a lot of times, like, they'll just let you go like that. All right. They won't even, they'll just, for whatever reason, they'll just say, this can be your last day. I had already handled everything with my supervisor already, but I share this example so you all can know the magnitude of how messy and jealous some people were. I don't understand why they were doing this, but I'm telling you that this stuff led me to a place because I just did not understand. In addition to that, I lost 2 family members within 7 days. Very tragic, unexpected losses, all right? So dealing with all of this church mess that happened, and then in addition to that, my grandmother had just gotten out of the hospital, and now I lose 2 family members within 7 days, all right? A very tragic, unexpected losses. And so, as you can imagine, at this time, I have all these feelings, thoughts, and emotions. But here's the thing I want you to understand, all right? A lot of times when we get hurt, we love to point the finger at other people, but we don't recognize that we have issues or unresolved things. So I've shared this before. You know, some people don't want to speak about certain issues, but I realized that the pain was magnified because there were some unmet needs that I had from childhood. All right. So the last thing I want you to do is to take this and think that I'm pointing the fingers at other people. No, I started to point the fingers at myself. And I said, you know, this is some things that my parents worked a lot. I love my parents. I have the best parents, but by nature of growing up in the 90s, my parents worked a lot. They worked in retail. So me and my sisters, like, we're like this. Me and my sisters are super close because my parents were always working. And so we spent time together. So by nature of my parents working in retail, working a lot of evenings, there were some unmet needs that I had. Now, I didn't realize this until I became an adult, until I got married. Some of these wounds were coming up. And these are some of the things that we're going to be dealing with in this class, helping you identify what are the wounds in your life where you're pointing fingers at other people. So me, if I stayed in the immature mindset, I would point the finger at this ministry leader and say, oh, you abandoned me, you did this and you did that. Yeah, they did some shady stuff. They did some absolute shady stuff. But the reason why that pain was magnitude was because I had a void and an absence from my childhood because my parents worked a lot. All right. So a lot of times we have these voids and these absences, and then we end up in relationships and we want our spouse or our partner or our pastor or whoever it is, we want them to fill those voids that really we should have gotten as a child. And really that we need to allow the Lord to fill those places as well. And so all of those things compounded together put me in a very depressed state of mind. All right. I mean, in addition to having 3 kids, my wife was pregnant with baby number 4. I mean, it was just so much stuff going on, but it was just like that was such a wound from the enemy threw fiery darts at me. And I thought I was doing good for a while, but when all this stuff started happening with the losses in my family, it was just like it just exposed me to a level of vulnerability that all of those darts that were being thrown at me just hit me. And then I started replaying in my mind, like, oh, I can't believe they did this. Like, why would they call my job? Like, why would these folks, that I loved and served, why would they be lying to my face and manipulating and doing all this stuff that's going on? Like, all of these thoughts, the enemy wanted me to be an accuser of the brethren, as the Bible says. And so I just got into such a deep place of depression. Like, it was just a lot of this stuff going on. But when I tell you God is a deliverer. And so this class that I'm getting ready to do, this 3-day master class, is birthed out of this place where I recognize, again, for those of you that came on late, I was so depressed when I went to a therapist. And I didn't even get to do the therapy because there was a mix up with my insurance. So I had to use the skills that I already had. And I recognize that many people don't have these skills. And so if you are at this valley of decision right now, where you know you're hurt, maybe it's something that stems from your childhood. Maybe you've gone through a breakup. Maybe it's a divorce. Maybe you have a broken relationship with your parents. Whatever it is that is going on in your life, I'm asking you, do you want to be made whole? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. Because I'm getting ready to close registration. When I get off of here, the class starts at 7 p.m. 39 right now. I'm getting ready to close registration when I get off of this live stream. All right. And so I know that there are people who've been listening, you've been seeing it, but this is what pride will do. Pride will tell you, oh, I'm good, I don't need any help. I'm good, I don't need any help. That's what pride will do. And you go around, and a lot of us are in denial. You are not healed. That's why I didn't speak on any of this, because I had to go through my healing process. And so everything that I wrote in my book, everything that I'm going to be teaching and pouring in this 3-day masterclass comes from this place. And this is the second time that I'm doing this course. All right. So you can read the reviews for yourself. There was someone in the comments who took the class last time. They have gone through this class. I have people who took it last time and they're like, can I please take this class again? They want to take the class again because they're saying that's how much of a blessing it was to them. And so when I tell y'all I was in such a low place, it's like when things catch you off guard and you thought that people were going to love you and care for you and support you and be there for you, and they're not. You have got to pick up the pieces and move forward. And so please don't be the person that is going to let pride get you in the mindset of thinking I'm good. Because if you look at that, let me tell you how you're not good. If you look at that person and you get a feeling of disgust, you're not good. If you look at that person and you feel like you can't have a conversation with them, now, depending on the situation, you may not be able to talk to this person. But if you look at this person and you are replaying and you feel like you want to get revenge, you are not good. If you're still replaying what happened in your mind, you're not good. All right. These are all signs that you have not forgiven and you've not healed. So when I tell you I went through a healing process, guess what? This person, I followed up with them and I said, hey, I just want to let you know I was extremely hurt, but I'm not angry at you anymore. I'm not mad. I didn't have to do that, y'all. But I wanted the devil to know that I am not unhealed, that I have healed. And guess what? I even took it a step further. And I said to seal this healing and this deliverance, because I had every reason to be mad, y'all. I'm not even going to go into detail of all of the things that happened. People to this day that don't associate with me anymore, where they have believed lies. And I'm like, God, why? I would never do anything like that. People believe lies about me that are not true at all. All right. But when I tell you God has healed me, so much so to the point where I say, you know what, I'm going to seal this. I'm going to sow a seed into your life because I want you to know that I'm healed. I want you to know that I have gone through my healing journey. And it took me almost 2 years, y'all, but it didn't have to take that long. And so if you're the person that's listening right now, I don't know if it's your mother, your father, a pastor, a leader, your wife, your boyfriend, your baby mama, your baby dad. I don't care who it is that has hurt you and you've been stuck. You have changed your identity and you're like, I want to get back to myself. So that's what I realized. I had gained weight. I couldn't fit it was just a lot of negative things that started happening in my life. So when you look at me right now, you see how my business has grown. Last year at this time, I have almost 100,000 people that have connected with this community. Last year at this time, I only had probably 800 followers, all right? But once I made a decision to heal, it's like things took off. My marriage was better. My business took off to the point where I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. So some of you right now are wondering when your life is going to change. You're wondering when things are going to move forward. But it's because you're stuck in this unforgiveness. You're stuck in this unresolved trauma. You're stuck in this emotional baggage that you have not released. You don't even know how to release it. Invest in yourself. It works. I'm telling you, it works. I just did a conversation the other day with one of my clients in New Zealand, and she said she's taken years of therapy. She said that this 3-day class was more impactful than years of therapy. These are her words, not mine, all right? And so when I tell you that this is an investment in yourself, this secures future healing for your generations to come after you. Because you know that these things, a bitter person passes down bitterness from generation to generation. And so what I had to learn and understand is that anybody that has come into my life and has hurt me, that's an unhealed person. They don't have the skills or the tools to know how to properly treat people. All right. And that's exactly what I learned. I had to recognize that the individuals that did these shady things are either jealous or insecure. And there's a reason why are in that. It's a reason why they're operating in that. They didn't get something as a child. They came from a broken home, whatever it is. There's something going on as to why they are acting and behaving that way. And when you have this mindset of maturity, it will be easier for you to be able to forgive them. But if you understand that, and here's what I'm going to say, it takes a mature person to be able to forgive somebody that has dragged you through the dirt. It takes a mature person to forgive somebody that has smeared your name when you know for a fact you haven't done a thing to them. It takes a mature person, and if we can be honest, the reason why majority of us walk around with unforgiveness is because we have not reached a place of maturity in our mind and our emotions to recognize what we're dealing with. But we're just viewing it as, oh, this is what this person did to me. I just posted a video about arrested development, and we talk about this in the class. You see somebody that's 35, but emotionally that's a 10-year-old. And you think, why are they doing this? But you're not realizing that emotionally, you are dealing with a child. That's like me expecting my 7-year-old son to have the maturity to be able to clearly articulate what he did wrong and to apologize for it. He may say sorry, but he doesn't really understand the magnitude of what he may have done. So some of us are walking around with unforgiveness towards people, and you have not even realized that the person that you're dealing with right now emotionally is an 8-year-old, emotionally is a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, and you're expecting them to apologize to you. You're expecting them to have this compassion or something when you're really dealing with a child. So I just had to get on here and share that testimony, all right? I was in a low place. I was in a dark place. It was not good, y'all. It was not good. And so if you're that person, you tired of being stuck in this cycle, I shared that story in John chapter 5, the man who was waiting at the side of the pool for 38 years. How much longer are you going to sit in this place? You know, one of the definitions of forgive means to leave in order to go to another place. Look it up. The biblical definition of forgive means to leave in order to go to another place. You would not see my business to this place that it's at right now if I had not made a decision to go through this healing process. So I am going to pour and teach and coach over the next 3 days about what I've learned, about what I've helped other clients who have gone through this class. And so somebody needed this last reminder. The Lord wouldn't give me no rest about this. So if you are that person and you know you need to be in this class, I'm about to close registration in about 30 minutes. So you need to go, if you're on Instagram, go to the link in my bio, sign up for the class. And here's the thing, y'all, we can do all this other stuff, but when it comes to investing in this, because some of you don't realize how emotional baggage is ruining your life. Literally, I had a medical doctor break this down in the course. It's a recorded conversation that you get access to. She literally explained how unforgiveness leads to cancer. So you don't recognize how this emotional baggage is destroying your life. You don't understand it. You think that, oh, it's just an emotional thing. No, but it's literally causing chronic illnesses. We break all this down in the course, but you don't recognize how this stuff is ruining your life because it's invisible to you. It's invisible to you. But if you were to get into a car accident, you'd be running to the hospital because you see the blood. But the difference with emotional baggage is it's invisible. You don't necessarily see what that pain and that trauma is doing to you. But I'm telling you, it's doing something to the inside of your body. It's why you don't have peace of mind. It's some of you, it's why you got stomach issues. For some of you, it's why you have migraines, because you won't let this pain and trauma go and you're carrying it around and you can't move into your next season because you are so bitter, full of resentment. So if you want to transform your life, if you want to make a decision to do something different, this is your last opportunity. I'm done. Does anybody have any questions? And my kid's so loud. Don't mind them. Does anybody have any questions about anything? About the class, about my journey, about my process? I am willing to answer those questions now. Does anybody have any questions? Get out of here, man. My son just came in. Does anybody have any questions? This is your time and opportunity now, all right? I am willing to answer any questions that you have about my testimony, about the course. Don't let pride make you think you're good. Listen, and people who have taken the class, they recommend it for everybody. Even if you think you don't have anyone to forgive, all right? Yes, there is a cost for the class. All right, you can go to the link in my bio. It has all the information there. All the information is there about the class, the reviews from people who have taken it before. Absolutely amazing reviews for the class, all right? Any other questions? Nina said, I just love hearing you talk. Amen, amen, amen. See, listen, I got to tell y'all, Nina, I wouldn't be here. I would not be on this live stream right now. I was about to be done. Without my business, I was I wasn't thinking about this business, but the Lord had to tell me to get back to work. What's the process over the 3 days? Great question. So over the 3 days, there's 3 different modules, all right? We have module 1, which is, so we break it down mind, body, spirit. So module 1, we focus on the spirit, right? I am a Christian life coach. So I break it down from a biblical perspective, helping you understand what does the Bible say about unforgiveness, about unresolved pain and all that kind of stuff. So we start there because a lot of times we want to jump into the healing, but we don't have the information to make the best decision to say, okay, this is why I need to forgive. So we start there, we dig deep, and really just help you identify what is the pain, what's the trauma, what are the wounds that you're dealing with in your life. So that's module number 1. All right. Module number 2 is the mind. So we focus on the mind and mental health. So we dig deep. All right. We talk about rumination, which is the process of when you just can't stop thinking about what that person did to you and you just keep replaying it over and over like a broken record. We deal with all of those things in your mental health, giving you strategies for how to overcome these things and get your mind in a healthy state. And then the last module is the body. All right. Mind, body, spirit. So we focus on the body. There's a module in there that you get access to from one of my friends who's a medical doctor, where she explains this whole process and how unforgiveness leads to cancer and other chronic diseases. But we talk about the body, how the trauma that you experience, when you don't do something with it, it's stored in your body. and giving you some strategies to overcome these things. All right. So that's the process over the 3 days where we focus on mind, body, and spirit. Those are the 3 modules. You get my ebook that I wrote, The Anatomy of Unforgiveness, when you register, and there's a workbook as well that has 10 assignments in there to kind of help you work through this process. All right. This is a journey. This is a process that you have to go through. And so that's the overall process for the 3 days. Does anybody else have any other questions? It's a transformation process. All right. When you see me here, I shouldn't be here. I should be somewhere on some medication, some depression medication, according to the therapist that I went to. But when I tell you God is a healer, and I walk you through that transformation process. Any other questions? Any other questions? So for whoever the people are, listen, the Lord will give me no rest. I was just praying and praying this morning. I'm like, Lord, whoever this is, I pray they make the right decision. Because here's the thing about God. You have free will. So the Lord could be telling you, like, you need to do this, and you can make a decision. Like this man at the pool for 38 years in John chapter 5. You can make that decision not to heal. That's up to you. All right. It is like dragging a ball and chain with you everywhere. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. How long did it take to heal? So it took me a year and a half, but that was when I was stuck. Like it doesn't need to take that long. That's what I'm saying. Like it didn't need to take me that long. And that's why, like, when I tell y'all, when I started my business, I didn't have a plan to do this, but the Lord was like, I need you to write about what you went through. I need you to write a book. I need you to do a class. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to obey God. So this is my second time doing it. So how long did it take to heal? It took me longer than it should have, because I was dragging my feet. I was replaying what they did to me over and over again. And I was like, thought I was good. And then something would come up, and then I would see them and I'm like, ugh. But now I can look at them and I'm like, hey, I'm good. I'm healed. I'm healed. And so it didn't need to take me a year and a half. That's why this course is designed to equip you with the skills to go through your healing process. But here's the thing, like the workbook has 10 assignments. If you don't do the work, you're not going to go through your healing process. It's just like going to a physical trainer. They can't lose the weight for you. You got to put in the work in order to lose the weight. So it's really up to you how long you want it to take. You want to continue to suffer? Listen, I got to the point where I was like, I don't want to suffer no more. I'm tired of looking and feeling terrible, and I want to get back to myself. I want to get back to being happy and loving people and not being suspicious and thinking people out to get me and going to hurt me. I didn't want none of that. I didn't want none of that. All right. Well, I am not seeing any other questions. So for those of you that are going to register, I will see you on the other side. I am going to keep it open for another 30 minutes. All right. I'm probably going to close it out. It is 5:55 my time. I'm probably going to close it out at 6:30. So when you register, you get the Zoom link and everything. It comes automatically to your email. So if you are still registering, make sure you check your spam and promotional folder, and you will get all the information. Make sure you enter your email correctly. And it'll give you all the information that you need for the class, right? Well, God bless you all. As I always say, I love y'all with the love of the Lord. I pray that this has been a blessing for you. Even if you don't take the class, I've given you some skills and some tools to be able to overcome. Go through my content on my page. There's a lot of stuff in there that'll be able to help you to get through this process. But you are not designed by God to walk around with baggage and unforgiveness and hurt and resentment. That is not your portion. Go ahead and go through your healing process so you can move into the place that God wants you to go. All right. This class, this is the second time I'm doing it. I don't have a desire to do this class again. So this is it. I will offer the replay though, for those people that, may decide to purchase the replay after that. All right. And I hope you're doing well, Jomisha. All right. I got to get off of here and get ready for class that starts in an hour. But I will see you on the other side. All right. God bless y'all.